So one of the biggest struggles that I faced as a narcissist is expressing my emotion. And if you're new here, I do have narcissistic personality disorder. So my therapist told me, like, I've been in therapy for 4 years. So my therapist had told me, she's like, if you don't learn how to express your emotions in the moment, they're going to come out one way or another later on. And it probably not in the form that you want them to come out in. She told me if I don't express my sadness when I'm sad in the moment, then they'll probably come out as anger later on against my wife or my kids or somebody else. So trying to be emotionally vulnerable as a narcissist is one of the, it's tough, because like, we're like narcissists are just guarded, like super guarded, super defensive against everything. Like, it's hard for me to take criticism, you know what I mean? So I've never wanted people to criticize me for like crying or being sad and stuff like that. So I've protected myself against that for 30 years. But therapy has definitely opened my eyes to just being open more emotionally. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of A Narcissist Explains. I am self-aware diagnosed narcissist, Mr. Lee Hammock, known as mental illness across all social media platforms. If this is the first time seeing my face or hearing my voice or whatnot, I am a diagnosed narcissist. I use my platform to raise awareness, raise it like to the roof for narcissistic personality disorder, get more people into therapy, and also validate the victims and survivors of this disorder as well. This series is dedicated to just making my TikToks and my YouTube shorts longer. They are 60 seconds. This is going to be longer than 60 seconds. So, the one you just watched was about expressing emotions as a narcissist. This is one of the things I kind of get right here a lot, y'all. Because people, like I said, I'm going to do my little robot. I know y'all love the robot. So people think that I'm some meatless, narcissistic robot that's going around here hurting people. I am a narcissistic robot programmed to go after codependent people. It doesn't work that way. I always feel like that narcissistic people, just like myself, I have the full emotional spectrum. I have access to the full emotional spectrum, from happiness to sadness to things like that. But I can't control my emotions. It's hard for me to express them, because growing up, a lot of times when you grow up in neighborhoods and stuff like that, like especially in African American culture and things like that in society, look, let me stop right there. Don't come out here and just like, hey Lee, it's just not an African-American culture or whatever. I'm talking about myself. I grew up in an African-American culture. So I know it's just not relegated to black people, to African. The robot, you still have to just reboot it. It's not relegated to just African-Americans or black people. It is literally worldwide. But this is my experience. This is how I grew up. Like, in my household, in places like that, in my culture, sometimes you were chastised for expressing your emotions. So if you had to stifle your emotions, it's hard to learn. Like, that's where arrested development comes from. But like, you skip a stage of emotional development, or you had to stifle your emotions for an extended period of time, you start to lack the ability to express those emotions. You lose the range to get to that emotion, except for anger, because anger, like, y'all, narcissistic rage exists because anger is easy. That's the easiest thing to express. Getting mad, it solves problems. You say what you want. Getting mad ends arguments. Getting mad starts arguments. Getting mad gets my point across. Getting mad gets me excited. Getting mad gets me exhilarated. Getting mad makes me more ambitious and jealous of people. So I go after higher goals. Getting mad is easy. I have access to the full spectrum of emotions and things like that, but it's hard to feel them. It's hard to express them, because it's hard to find people like to trust with those emotions. To trust with those emotions. I know, because you feel like you might be the significant other, you might be the kid of this narcissist, you might be the son or daughter of this narcissistic person, because you are that person. I feel like you think that you are supposed to be, the narcissist is supposed to trust you. Sometimes they trust you in the beginning. Sometimes they trust you in the beginning. They really do. They'll cry with you in the beginning. They'll talk to you in the beginning about stuff like that they normally wouldn't talk about. They'll trust you in the beginning, seemingly, because they don't give you the whole story. The narcissists rarely tell you the whole story. They rarely fill you in. They rarely fill in all the gaps. We give you what we think is necessary to get you where we want to get you, and then we take away from it. We don't add on to it. We tell you about the trauma that we experienced as a kid, but we don't tell you how we dealt with it. We just like, hey, this is what happened to me as a kid. How'd you deal with it? I'm actually still dealing with it 30 years later. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. But yeah, you see that. I have, like I said, I do have I can be happy, but happiness is, I feel like happiness is fleeting. I feel like happiness escapes me. I'm chasing happiness. Most narcissistic people are chasing happiness. They're chasing joy. That's where the delusions of grandeur come into you. I think people think delusions of grandeur are just narcissists want power and control and stuff like that. You want to feel like you can flex on the world. True, but delusions of grandeur are, you know, parallel to delusions of fulfillment. We want to hit these massive goals so we could like feel, because we think eventually that hitting those goals is going to make us happy some way, shape, or form. We think eventually hitting that status is going to make us happy in some way, shape, or form. But when we hit those goals, when we hit those status, we fulfill that delusion of grandeur, when we hit it and we're not happy, frustration kicks in. Why the hell can I be happy? The person closest to you, I'm blaming you because I thought I was going to hit this goal and be happy, but you held me back. I don't feel happy because you add stress to me. I don't feel happy because your kids are taking away from my time to put into this goal. This is why I don't feel happy. Like, they start to blame the people around you get blamed for it. You get blamed because you're the closest person. I just made my first $1 million, but I had to spend it because you wanted this. Now I had exactly $1 million. And I thought I was gonna be happy. I had $1 million for a few minutes, but I had to pay for your surgery. You can't stay healthy. Blame. They blame you because they don't feel happy. And that's literally what it is. So in my brain, sometimes it's gonna sound sad. Don't feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for any other narcissist. You can feel some empathy, but don't feel sorry. Does that make sense? If that didn't make sense, somebody correct me. You can feel. Don't correct me in the comment section. Don't let what I'm about to say get to you. Because I feel like I don't have the ability to ever be fully, truly satisfied and happy. I just don't feel like I feel like that escapes me. But I chase it because it's cool, because it makes the people around me, my family, it makes their lives better. If I hit goals, I make a certain amount of money, it makes their lives better. They can be happy. So I've kind of shifted away from making myself happy into making them happy. Hey, we did this. We can go buy this now. You can get the couch set you didn't want. You can go buy it now. Oh my goodness, yeah, really? Yeah, and she gets her couch, sits on her couch or whatever, the sofa section or whatever. She's happy. I feel a little brief moment of happiness. Like, yeah, I did that. But then it immediately goes away. it runs away. It's gone. Like, the happiness was there for a minute, and then it's gone. It's there for a minute, and then it's gone immediately. And then I have to find something else. What else do you want? Oh, you want this car? Let's work harder. Let's grind harder. Let's start this other business over here. Let's start this eBay business. Let's do this right here. Let's get that car you want. If they're going to make you happy, yeah, I think it'll make me happy. Cool. She's happy. She smiles. Every time she gets in the car, she's happy. Every time she sits on the couch, she's happy. Every time she walks into, open the door to the house, she's happy. My kids, what you want? That video game? Cool. They happy. I focus on their happiness, not so much of my own, and it helps me live my life. It helps me focus my life forward, as opposed to being in this stationary state of mind where I'm sad all the time, or I'm angry at the world. I focus on their happiness and not my own. It helps me live a better life. And I hope, like, it might sound sad, but it's cool. This is my life. I can't get rid of it. I might as well just deal with it, right? Focus. God, faith, focus. Get it in. Anyways, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. I got to head out of here. Mental illness is out. Peace.